Welcome to the Business of Being a Postgrad, where we share real stories, experiences, and insights from postgraduate students here at Durham University Business School. Each episode explores the highs, the challenges, and everything in between. Our conversations are split into three sections: life, learning, and lessons. So, whether you're considering postgraduate study, already on your journey, or simply curious about the people shaping the future of business, this podcast is your inside look. Hi, I'm John. In this episode of The Business of Being a Postgrad, I sit down with MBA student Fahd from Morocco to hear about his experience during Michaelmas term. As a prestigious Chevening Scholar, Fahd shares advice on the application and interview process and what it means to be a part of the Chevening 1% community. First up, life, your journey, your experiences, and what made Durham feel right for you. Hi Fahd, thank you for coming on The Business of Being a Postgrad. Would you like to just introduce yourself to our audience and tell them a little bit about your background?
Hello John, it's great to be here with you today. Thanks for inviting me for this podcast session. So my name is Fahd, I'm from Morocco. I'm a student at the MBA, cohorted this year. So in terms of background, I have a telecom engineering background. Something around, let's say, 11 years of work experience that ranges from, technical consultancy. Then I moved to, project program management, and more recently to product management. So my experience ranges from working in, multinational companies, to government companies, to local firms.
And what led you to Durham University Business School?
Oh, a lot of reasons that pushes me to consider the Durham MBA. So I would say, first of all, I was looking for a program that is prestigious. So ranking was very important to me. And looking, for example, at the Financial Times ranking, Durham MBA was consistently ranking among the top during, let's say, the last 15 or 20 years. And that was very important to me. Second thing, I would say that I was looking for a program that lasts no more than 12 months, no more than 1 year, because you can see after 11 years of work experience, you do not want to be cut from the professional world more than 1 year.
Yeah.
I would add the fact that it was highly a recommendation from a Moroccan friend who did his MBA at Durham in 2002.
Wow.
Now he's working as a, sales director.
Yeah.
And he really pushes me to consider Durham. And maybe I can add a fourth one. You see, there's a lot of stuff that pushes me to consider Durham. The unique model of Durham MBA, which is the Boardroom Exercise. We're pushing you to play as to simulate as a CEO and sit in front of an administration board of a company and play the role of a CEO. So that was very important for me, practical stuffs, and be in the shoes of prospective CEO. That was very important to me.
So at what point was it in your career that you decided now is the time to pursue the MBA?
Honestly, right after my graduation from my engineering school, I was thinking that I needed to pursue business studies, because let's say after 4 or 5 years of work experience, I started knowing exactly how the engine is working, but not where he is headed. So I needed some, business learnings in order to tackle this. As with regards to your question, for Durham MBA, I would say I was considered applying the year before last year, but I have a double complexity of applying at the same time to a scholarship to cover my fees. And at that time, I didn't get it. So I had a chance to reapply this year, and I got an admission.
And if you don't mind sharing with the audience what that scholarship was?
I have applied for Chevening Scholarship. Yeah.
So it was your second time applying for Chevening when you were successful?
Yes, it is.
Big congratulations.
Thank you so much
for being successul. Yes, we receive lots of applications a year across the university for lots of people to come and pursue a master's. I even think this year they had over 100,000 applications, which is the most they've ever had, I think. So yeah, great achievement. It's a great community to be a part of.
Yeah, sure.
So just to talk a little bit about that application process, How did you find it? How was the interview?
Yeah, honestly, for the Chevening application, on the first place, I was struck by, in between brackets, the shocking numbers. So
Of applications?
Yeah, of the applications, because
daunting.
yeah, the official number says that only 1% of the whole people they are applying, they got, let's say, a final admission. So this, on the first place, they kind of pushes me back from applying. But I think that I have a lot of great experiences to talk about, professional ones, personal ones. I think I have achieved great results, and I said that I need to leverage this to craft some wonderful essays. So this is what I've done, and I strongly believe that Durham University has been part of this great success. Why? Because, as you may know, Chevening Scholarship only covers a cap of 22,000 pounds toward the tuition fees, and the Durham Business School has accepted to cover the remaining fees toward the full tuition fees. So again, thank you so much to Durham Business School for covering this, making me, let's say, easing the financial burden so I can concentrate fully on my learnings.
Yeah, well, it's such a prestigious award, as you mentioned. So the business school is very happy to support Chevening Scholars on the program. Next, we're diving into learning, the classes, experience, and the skills that have really shaped your program so far. So, as you've mentioned earlier, you had quite an inspiring career, and you've been involved in lots of different projects. How has these skills helped you so far on the MBA?
I think it has helped me in terms of let's say, two main paths. First one, which is in terms of hard competencies that I could bring with me. As you said, I have worked in technical consultancies, sales of technical solutions, then product management. So I think in terms of hard skills, I could highly, let's say, lead some discussions inside the classroom, interact with the professors, but also inside the group works. Second thing, I believe, after 11 years of work experience, you've started exactly know how to work with different peoples, because this is one of the, let's say, implicit competencies that we are learning inside the MBA. Yeah. So after 11 years of work experience in, let's say, no less than 5 different companies, it highly helped me in terms of working with different people, even the more difficult ones. So that's it.
And in terms of the first term and your modules you've covered, what have you been enjoying?
Yeah, I think the first term, the Michaelmas terms, we've been learning the basics. 4 main models. Can I cite them?
Yes, you can.
So there is the leading and managing people, the marketing, accounting and finance, as well as the economics for global business. So these models, they are considered the basics, and they are paving the way to prospective models from the second term. So I think that I have learned a lot, because having an engineering background, I had no prior knowledge with regards to models or knowledge like finance, like economics, like numbers. I'm easy with mathematics, but such kind of learnings, I have no prior knowledge. And I want to highlight something that is very important. And I think that during my first term, I have had the best professor in my entire academic life.
We've got to ask who.
Of course, because I'm not just throwing flowers or for marketing purposes. It's the real truth.
Yeah.
I have written this in every, let's say, how do you call it? Feedback.
Yes.
It's Professor Amir Michael, Professor of Accounting.
Yes.
He gives us not only his way of teaching stuffs. It's like he is not teaching, let's say, academic knowledge. He is telling a real story. And as I've always said, the memory of human beings, they retain only structured things. Even though you are good in terms of knowledge, if you don't know how to teach, if you don't have any, let's say, a strong pedagogy, students will not follow you. So Professor Amir Michael, I said it again, is the best professor I have had in my entire academic life. And Now I'm an aged man. After 11 years of work experience, I can't hold my attention more than, let's say, 20, 30 minutes. With Professor Amin Michael, I can assure you that I stay concentrated for the whole time with him. So thanks to him.
I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear that.
Yeah, sure. But of course, I would like to highlight the model from Economics for Global Business, because it gives you, let's say, a global perspective of how business managers should react to market changes. And very special greetings to Professor Rebecca. It's a very tough model, but let's say thanks to her, it's now easier to grasp. Yeah.
And looking ahead in terms of next term, have you chosen your chosen pathway?
Yes, I'll go with consultancy pathway.
Consultancy. Okay, yeah. I thought you potentially might have gone with the tech, coming from the background that you might.
No, because I think when I have had a look on the tech consultant, the tech, let's say, pathway, I think it's something familiar to me. It's not going to add a lot of, let's say, added value. So I'd say let's go with consultancy pathway. Yeah.
And then you obviously have your study trip coming up in April, around April time. And then as you mentioned earlier, the boardroom exercise will kind of conclude the term. So yeah, sounds like lots of things to look forward to.
Yeah, sure.
During the program as well, have there been any additional events or networking opportunities or guest speakers that you've attended or engaged with?
Yeah, I think one of the, let's say, most remarkable or important things that we've learned in Durham Business School or the MBA program is that each time we're inviting guest speakers to complement the theory we're learning in class. So, for example, one time we've received the senior product manager at Amazon. At a time, we've received the CEO of a startup working on knowledge management. So this really complements the theory we're learning in class. And it's also a good opportunity for us to ask questions from a practical side.
And how has the group working been and your cohort experience been so far?
Yeah, I think it's again a very critical point you've asked, Jonathan, because thanks to our teaching and learning team, they have done a really great job in terms of let's say spotting us in terms of groups, because they are relying on, let's say, experts to assign us into specific groups according to the, let's say, to the age, to the background, to the but also to the psychological side of people. So before coming in here, we've responded to kind of, let's say, questionnaire, a very long one that has been conceived by professionals.
Yes. In
order to structure your psychological mind. Are you the most from the analytical people, or from the any other category yet? So thanks to them, we have been divided into let's say groups, and I found myself let's say in my group, or let's say almost all of the group, they were very complementary in terms of geography, in terms of background. And that's very important because we've worked in a lot of projects together, marketing, and economics, and everything else. And I think, for example, I can give example just to make the practical side. We've had a financial expert who helped us, or let's say helped drive the discussions toward the formative in the accounting model. I'm coming from tech background, from the perspective of product management. We had another person coming from the tech, but this time from the, let's say, from the project and the delivery perspective. Another person coming from the marketing stuff. So this complementary pushes us not only to learn from professors, but also to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And the most important thing I would like to say, which is in the next term, we're going to work with new people. So we are going to be assigned with a new team to maximize the learning curve.
Yes. So yeah, it sounds like a great way to learn from each other and keep building those.
Of course,
mix those up and build new relationships.
Yes, and I think this is I don't know what's happening in other business schools, but this is very unique to Durham MBA, because as I said, they're leveraging experts from the field to let's say spot to which psychological category you're belonging to in order to divide it in groups. Yeah.
That leads us into lessons where we talk about the key takeaways and advice for future postgrads. So we're a few months into the MBA program now. So if we take some time here to reflect back on those first few months, what's something you've learned about yourself during your time at Durham?
First of all, the most instinctive one is hard skills. So as I said, I have no prior knowledge about finance, economics, and accounting. So I have learned a lot in terms of hard skills, like in finance, economics, and from one of the best professors, as you said, Professor Michael, Professor Rebecca, and especially how to apply them. Because one of the assignments we're having is to select a company and then try to apply all what we've learned into it. So it's not only theory, but also a practical ones. A second dimension I could say, which is, let's say, people skills. This is very important because, for example, if you're going to go with an interview, you're not even aware of the type of people or the kind of people you're going to work with. So you need such kind of, let's say, implicit competencies that you need to develop of how to work with people. The program MBA pushes us to develop such kind of competency by dividing us into smaller groups of 6 persons. And it's up to you to learn how to work with them, to leverage your let's say, your sensors, and let's say prepare actions on how you can work with this group. And I think it is as well at the same time strengthening your leadership skills. But also a third dimension, which is something, let's say, beyond the academic courses. And here highlight to the clubs, societies. So I'm involved into the football teams of University College. I go to swimming. So I can say that here in Durham there is a thing for everybody, both at a professional level, because we compete against other universities.
You're a member of Eustonov College.
Yes, I am.
And you say you represent the football team at Eustonov College?
I'm part of the team.
Part of the team, yes.
Yes, I'm part of the team, and we compete each week against other colleges. Okay. But we have inside university.
Is there a league table?
Yes, there is a league table.
Where is Eustonov currently?
I think we're doing good. Okay. We're in the 4th place.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's a good.
Oh, 17, right? 17.
Yes, 17 colleges. Yeah, correct. So I was saying that there is everything for everybody in here, both at a professional level, because inside the Durham University we're playing against the North League, against other universities, but also not at a professional level, but let's say at the fun level, you can hang out with your friends. Yeah.
So what advice would you have to somebody applying to the MBA at Durham University Business School?
I would say that, first of all, 1-year MBA program is going to fly by. You should come in here with the perspective of maximizing learnings. So when I say maximizing learnings, so maximizing learnings in its broadest possible terms, from the professors, from the faculty members, from students in the cohort, from people living with you inside the college, from everyone you will encounter, you need and you should to learn something. Second thing, I would say, you need to maximize interactions with all of the peoples that I have cited. There is almost something that you can learn from everybody. And I would like to, let's say, invite those prospective students to get involved into activities and social activities. For example, you can go for a social club. You can go as well for an activity involving teams, like sport activity or anything else. So this is very important. And I have learned from one of the professors that, so even for, let's say, job market, the interviewers, they are asking about such kind of experiences because it is projecting the fact that you can work easily with people, especially if you're coming from abroad. They need to know that you can work easily with British people, and this is a very good thing. And a second advice, or a third one I could give, is that please learn how to develop, let's say, sustainable relationships. And there is a very good opportunities here in Durham Business School, which is there is a program called mentorship program. So we are assigning alumni people from previous cohorts to everybody, to every student in here, and that is fantastic because we're assigning this alumni to you based on, let's say, the background, the professional experience, and he can help you a lot. Especially from the field or from the practical perspective. So learn how to maximize or learn how to develop sustainable relationships.
So do you have a mentor?
Yes, I do have one. I believe he's a country manager for a very famous company in Spain.
Oh, wow, very interesting. And just to go back to Chevening, because we're coming up to the interview round for those who are applying for next year. Any quick tips just for those students who've made it to that second stage and about to have that interview? Yeah,
so for me, Chevening is two main stages. The first one, which is the, let's say, the biggest filter, which is the writing essays. So one advice is be specific. And one practical advice I could say is that if you write something, reread it again. If you find that this thing could be said by anybody else, delete it, write it again. Until you say this cannot be said by anybody else, this is specific to me. So be specific as much as possible. And I think if you stick to this and you add on it the fact that you are heading toward tackling a very specific objective, and here it's impact, I think you could have a place on the interview.
And any tips for the interview?
So the interview mainly is gonna rely on what you've wrote in the essays. So again, be specific about the objectives. And in the interview in general, the board is very, very friendly. So I think that if you pass the essays part, let's say the interview is going to be somehow easy, but it's still you need to prepare for it.
And yeah, looking ahead, obviously you've still got quite a bit of time to go on the MBA. But what is at the moment? What's your career plan? What's next for you after the MBA?
I'm in a very specific case because I didn't resign before coming to here. So my company, let's say they suggested or they accepted for me, let's say sabbatical year.
Yes.
So I came in here to do my MBA. Then I will come back to my company. I was working as a product manager. At the same time, there was a lot of big projects that we didn't continue. So I will come back to my company.
And any plans when you get back there to set up any MBA communities or alumni communities?
I know one from the MBA cohorts, 2002, I believe, yeah. So I think Durham MBA or Durham University in general is, let's say, underrepresented in Morocco, in North Africa in general. So one of my plans that I want to leverage on, and this is, I have written it in my essays for my admissions. My project is how we can, let's say, create a kind of association or formal gathering, of course, with the help of university, and gathering all of the Moroccan and North African people that have studied in the Durham University in general, not only MBA. And the main purpose for this formal association or formal gathering is first to create a kind of close-knit group between all of us.
Yeah.
And the second one is to, let's say, reach out to prospective students wanting to go continue their studies abroad and to the UK, and give them a kind of taste of what it is to study in one of the best universities in the world.
And great, I think we'll leave it at that. So we're just going to finish up with a quick fire round. So it's going to ask you a couple of questions and you're just looking for the first thing that comes to mind. So you ready?
Yes, I am.
Great. So we'll jump straight in. A book or a podcast that's influenced you?
I would say a French one called Legend.
Your favorite British food that you've tried?
Honestly, I've tried only once the British breakfast, yeah.
And how was it?
Okay.
Castle or cathedral?
Cathedral.
Which module has challenged you the most so far?
The most challenging, but the most important one, economics for global business.
What would you hope to be remembered for by the end of your MBA?
I would say interactions with professors and people in here.
And lastly, one word to describe your MBA cohort.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to subscribe. We've got plenty more stories coming your way.